Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the Bitcoin miners and the crypto stocks. So with that being said, let's get it. All right, so I've gone over my position here on Bitcoin before. Um, in the previous video, if you guys have seen that by the time you see this, again, channel memberships are there to buy if you guys want to get early access to this content. I'm aware that this video is not going to come out until after market close tomorrow. That's fine. But again, if you want to get early access to it, it's $25 a month. The join button is below the video, so that's entirely up to you. All right, so in terms of Bitcoin, I think we have at least a couple more weeks on the books before any major pullback, because that's what happened last time that Bitcoin ran up to all-time highs, and it could run up all the way into this 2.618 here before getting a pullback, and then like if I just show you guys what that would look like, maybe something like this, and then come back and maybe pull back here, and then boom, take off like that. It's hard to say exactly. Okay, so yeah, actually, let me redo this because my timing's off a little on this. So let's say Bitcoin goes straight up through February, maybe chops around a little bit like this, kind of right around 130, 150,000, somewhere there, then pulls back into 100,000 right around May, June timeframe. People freaking out. Then it rinses and repeats. The same thing it did last cycle. Starts popping off in August again, and then rips straight into the end of the year. And then Bitcoin tops out like maybe 240,000, something like that. I can't say with certainty that's going to happen, but we saw a real serious rip on Bitcoin during the first half of the parabolic phase of the bull run last cycle, and then so Bitcoin went up basically between, like, I think after it broke all-time highs in December, it went up from December to March, kind of chopped around until May, dropped, then went back up in August or July, August, something like that, and then into the end of the year. So what I'm trying to say here is I think it's going to be a while before Bitcoin actually has a top, any kind of top. Okay, so, and the other thing you guys got to think about too, okay, Gary Gensler is getting fired. Okay, he's not going to be witch hunting people in the crypto space anymore. He's gone. Okay, Trump already said he was going to come out and fire him. So that's bullish for crypto. Trump is a crypto president. And again, I know some of you hate, oh God, there he goes, talking about politics again. Well, it matters, dude. It matters for the crypto space. It matters for finance, okay? Whether you like it or not, that's the reality of things. It matters. And clearly the crypto space thinks exactly the same thing I'm telling you guys, okay? It matters a great deal. But, Trump being in office, him appointing his own SEC chair that is pro crypto and CFTC and all that stuff, it's obviously all very bullish for crypto, right? And the markets are going up into that news. Going into January 10th, I mean, the markets could keep going up even after that. It wouldn't surprise me because, again, I am expecting Trump to basically do everything he said he's going to do. So there's all that. All right, so Coinbase, this thing has gone up a lot. I won't lie to you. The last couple of weeks has gone up a huge amount. So in terms of structure levels here, I mean, this thing's getting ready to hit a top. So we got the actual all-time high at $434. I do think Coinbase is going to go way past that. I'm just going to be honest with you because, again, Coinbase came out right as Bitcoin hit its top before the mid-cycle dump. And then it never really got to see the first half of its full move in the previous cycle is what I'm saying. So I think it could actually go a lot higher. Okay. Just to give you guys an idea of what that could look like, Coinbase could go anywhere from $360 up to $700. I know it sounds absolutely bonkers, but that's what the charts say. So RSI is not yet in overbought territory. Buy zone down here at 205 to 229, although I highly doubt it's going to go back down there anytime soon. 306 to 365 up here. Of course, we have a gap up as well, but I'm not too worried about that. I'd say it's overall looking good. MSTR, this thing did eventually get out of that support and has just absolutely screamed to the upside. And again, this thing is at all-time highs, but I do want you guys to understand, as long as Bitcoin and crypto is going up, MSTR and Coinbase could just still keep going up, okay? As long as Bitcoin is going up, which I think is going to be for quite some time, the Bitcoin miners and MicroStrategy and things like LCCN, BCHG, Misty, Coney, they're probably just going to keep going up. Okay. Again, I would not be shocked if this was the case that they just kept going up much higher than people expect. So the fibs here basically say that we're about to hit the 2.618. Again, that's roughly about 370. But it could go as high as 460 all the way up to 520. That could absolutely happen. It could go even higher than that. We'll just have to wait and see. Of course, you have your other things here like MSTU, CONL, and all that stuff, and of course BITX. Okay, so let's get into the miners. All right. So, just so you guys know, CLSK is no longer halted. You can see the price has changed here. It is no longer halted. Thank God, because I was like, dude, I don't know if they, I don't know if they heard what I had to say, but it's like, bro, nobody's gonna want to be in your stock when you have it frozen in the middle of a bull run. They're gonna get pissed and they're gonna want to dump your stock, but they didn't do that. Fortunately, it is actually freed up now, so I'd say that's a bullish thing. So no worries there. I do suspect all these miners, including CLSK, will continue up much higher from here. Okay, so buy zone as of right now, 18 to 20 on Mara. Do I think it's going to go back there anytime soon? Probably not. I'm actually expecting Mara to keep pushing up through the rest of the week into this $28 to $33 area. Again, you guys got to understand when Bitcoin and the miners and the rest of the crypto space move, they move extremely fast. Okay, it's not like we're talking like days or weeks here. Okay, maybe a few months, maybe 3 to 6 months, somewhere there, but it's usually a relatively short amount of time. So that's kind of what I'm expecting here. Now, in terms of the measured move here, 80%. Now, what I will say about Mara is the previous all-time high last cycle was at 80. Okay, $80. So that means that Mara could go potentially anywhere between here and at least 80, if not higher. Now, if Trump wants all the Bitcoin mined in the US, which is extremely bullish, that could be extremely bullish for both the price of Bitcoin and the miners, because that would greatly benefit the miners for all the Bitcoin to be mined in the US, right? And a lot of these are US based Bitcoin miners. So in terms of the basically the trend lines and the patterns here, so this thing's basically saying that let's say the miners top out somewhere in let's say maybe December to January. Okay, that means Mara could go anywhere from $115 to $130 a share. It's absolutely possible it could happen. Okay, Riot, same thing. So the previous all-time high up here was right around the $80 area. And it happened in December of the last cycle, so it could easily happen next month as well. So we got the breakout of the wedge pattern here. Again, the target is the top of the wedge, so that's right about $19. I'm actually expecting it to go much higher than that. So you guys can see even at the swing high here for Riot, this thing went up to 25 before eventually pulling back. That's just above that resistance zone, but the all-time high for Riot was at 80, but then it still had another large peak at 46. So this thing could easily go up to $40, $50. It wouldn't shock me at all if that was the case. Okay, so I would say the buy zone is probably, like, if you're looking for a pullback, maybe for this gap to get filled. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. Probably not until the bear market, if I'm being completely honest, way out from now, about a year from now in 2026. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. So roughly about $13. Okay. If it does happen, fat chance of it happening, 1880 to 21 above head. Roughly about 63% gain. Now, if you were one of those people that bought down here when it was in this green box, your total move would be about 235%. All right, CLSK, this thing is absolutely ripping. It's probably going to keep ripping because that's usually what crypto does. It just keeps on going up. So the buy zone, 1220 to 14, but considering this thing gapped up, I'd say likely it's probably not going to go back there. So resistance, 21 to 24. Again, this one's not in the buy zone. It's already left the station, so to speak, so it's probably just going to keep going up. But if you did buy back down in that green zone, immediate move would be about 90%. Again, you can always do options on these. So the resistance above head, 36 to 42, it could go all the way up there. It's absolutely possible that could happen. So kind of that November, December, or not November, December, January timeframe. I'm just telling you guys before on Mara. For this miner, it sits somewhere between 75 to 80. Okay, and the previous all-time high in the last cycle was about $40. All right, Hut 8, previous all-time high in the last cycle was roughly about $85. All right, so I'm actually going to draw in a couple more zones here, just so y'all know. Got to get those all-time highs up there because, I mean, a lot of these are probably going to start ripping pretty hard, pretty fast, pretty high. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, you can see already some of the gains we're getting. Okay, so if you're lucky enough to get a pullback, maybe looking somewhere around 20, 22 and a half, 23. I don't think it pulls back more than that, and then it takes off immediately at the top of the support zone. So the upper head resistance 27 to 32, and then above that you got 63 to about 84. Any of those targets is possible. I'd say likely it's probably even. I mean, a lot of these, pretty much all of these top 4 miners, I am actually expecting to go anywhere from like $50 to $100 a share. That would not surprise me if that was the case. Okay. All right. So 45 to about 260% gain here is Cypher. Next one. As you guys know, this one's actually pretty aggressive. I mean, they all are, but this one has showed signs of strength early on. Okay. So what we're looking at here, do I think this is coming back to the buy zone? Probably not. But if you bought in here, then you had bought roughly about 5 to 550. The next level up here is going to be about 10 to 1050. You can see we're getting pretty close to that target for that ascending channel here, which did not play out perfectly, but is what it is. So about a 107% move. Again, if this thing just goes straight up, which could happen from the current price to that target, roughly about 43%. And the all-time high is at 15. So since this one, the all-time high is not significantly higher than the current price, you could be looking at as much as $27 on this one for the local level. And then I just give you guys the macro level one here. Again, this is especially with Trump wanting to mine all the Bitcoin in the US, I would say any of these levels definitely could be a possibility. So about 67, 68 bucks on Cypher. Okay, BTBT, this thing has absolutely moonshot. It's just destroying resistance to the upside. So, I mean, I told you guys, I try to tell you guys before, like sometimes crypto just does not give two Fs. It just smashes straight through levels. Doesn't care if you miss the opportunity. Well, it is what it is. You just have to maybe find a different opportunity. Okay, so support. This one's a little bit closer to support. So I'd say it's probably going to move pretty fast, but I would say that, if you catch it here, still a good time to buy, in my opinion. That's not financial advice. So 410 to 490 at support here, 1270 to 1450. So that move would then be 240% gain. Again, do keep in mind that BTPT's previous all-time high was still very high compared to the current price, 34 bucks roughly. BITF, so we did get a break of this triangle pattern. Also a huge gap up. Again, that's not surprising because Bitcoin was ripping to the moon as it was ripping to the moon over the weekend as the markets was closed, which really in truth doesn't shock me. So this candle confirms above this one right here. This green one confirms above the top of the triangle. So as of right now, the support is going to be right around 220 to 240. Above head, you got about 3 to 350. And then above that, you have roughly about 720 to, I'd say, about 920 on this one. Okay, so maximum move here, about 280%. Now, I do want to say this. I'm just going to give you guys this one since the all-time high is not really all that high compared to the current price. Again, this thing could go way past even these Fibonacci retracement levels. This thing could go up to 40 bucks. Okay, so you could potentially be looking at maybe more than a 10x on this. Again, Mara, Riot, CLSK, Hut 8. During the bear market, these things were all like single digit prices. Okay, they were like $2, $3, $4, $5. The previous all time high for these four up here was around $80. So to say this thing could do a 10x, not really. I think that's very realistic in my opinion. Okay, so next one here, IREN by request. This one is starting to kind of approach the target up here. Do I think that's going to be the end all do all for IREN? No, I do not. I think a lot of these miners will go to new all time highs. So if you bought down here, it would have been around 620 to 8. Again, I will say I think BTBT is a better buy at this point than IREN. However, there's a flip side to this. Okay, if you think it's going to go above this zone between 1360 to 1820 and you want to buy on the dip, you're looking for a rip above and then a pullback into the dip and then boom, take off like a rocket. So this price that it's currently at may even be cheap. Again, you got to decide for yourself here what is the right option for you. So the all-time high as of right now is 28. I will just give you guys a macro on this. I'm not going to go super deep into it. So in terms of price targets here, so for this one, this thing could go as high as $120. Again, some of these miners have already done that. So would it shock me? Not really. But if you had already bought down in this buy zone when we told you about it, you'd be looking at getting pretty close to about 190% gain. Okay, so Hive, next one, also by request, and Wolf also by request. Okay, so if you had bought down here in the buy zone, that buy zone would have been about 215 to 280. The next target above head is roughly about 580 to 780. Could easily shoot past that. It wouldn't surprise me. So 24 to 2850 above head, and again, that is the all-time high for being back there. I think. Yeah, looks like it was actually the all-time high. Okay, so let's just assume you bought down here, okay, and you're looking for that target up there, the maximum move, 250% gain. However, if you're buying at this area thinking this is going to flip into support, again, I would wait for confirmation on this one, just my opinion. 446% gain just to get back to the all-time high. Right, I actually forgot. So I got to give you all the potential price discovery here because I feel like I would be cheating you if I didn't do this. Not sure if I already did or not, but for this one, it'd be about $120. Next one here, Wolf. So this is interesting. This is actually a rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern. But again, because of the fact that Bitcoin is screaming to all-time highs, I would say likely this is actually going to break up to the upside, okay? Again, it's because Bitcoin is going to all-time highs, probably going to keep going up. And then it has actually broken out of this previous resistance and now is retesting as support. So that is why I think it's actually going to keep going up instead of pulling back. So maybe somewhere around that $8 area might be a good area to buy if there is even a slight pullback here. Do I think it's going to go back down within the wedge? Probably not. So the all-time high up here, $46. And again, I'm not going to go all the way back in time. We're just going to take a look at the last cycle. So just measuring from around that $8 area to the all-time highs, 450% gain. Now, if this thing does go into full price discovery mode, let's say that Trump wants to, he wants to, no tax on Bitcoin, all the Bitcoin mined in the US, every company that's overseas that, mines Bitcoin for America has to come back to America and, they drop rates to the floor and no tax on overtime tips, all that jazz. I mean, it's like literally the most bullish economic environment you could possibly imagine and then some. In that particular instance, I think these miners could hit these top fib levels or maybe even go past them. So the target for this one on the top fib is almost $200. So it is pretty up there. That's about a 20x. I mean, shoot, even if it went to $100, I would say that's still a win. So that's just my opinion, of course. But anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.